A woman found dead in her own apartment, locked from the inside. No one heard a sound. No one saw anyone leave. The blood had been cleaned. No signs of forced entry. No footprints. No weapon. And the most haunting part? Police could never determine how she died, or who the killer was. The Seew Leng Khoo case. May 19th, 1979, Singapore, Block 123, Bedok North. A quiet residential apartment building. Unit 7 to 203 was home to Seew Leng Khoo, 35 years old, an accountant at a foreign firm. Her co-workers described her as punctual to the minute, lived alone, no known relationships, no scandals. That morning, she didn't show up for work. She didn't call in sick. No one answered her phone. Concerned, her boss contacted the family. At 11 a.m., her brother, Seew Leng Khoo, came knocking. No answer. The door was locked from the inside with a sliding bolt only operable from within. No strange smells. No noises. No sign of anything wrong. After 20 minutes of calling her name, the family and neighbors decided to force the door open. It swung wide, revealing a chilling silence. Seew was lying flat on her back in the living room, eyes wide open. No signs of life. Police were called immediately, and what they found was deeply unsettling. No external wounds, no blood, no signs of struggle, no furniture disturbed. Most importantly, no sign of forced entry. The door locks were secure. Windows all shut. No footprints. No fingerprints. Nothing. In the official police report, she was found dead in a completely locked apartment with no apparent way in or out. The body was taken to the morgue. Estimated time of death: 4 to 6 hours earlier, meaning around 5 to 7 a.m. Exactly the time she would normally leave for work. A downstairs neighbor said, "I heard nothing. No footsteps, no chair moving, not even the radio. A woman, dead. No sound. No cry for help. No visible cause of death. Just one thing is certain. Someone had been in that room and vanished." A woman found dead in an apartment locked from the inside. No blood. No weapon. No trace that a death had even occurred. Only the body and a silence that suffocates. May 20th, 1979. Seew Leng Khoo's body was taken to the morgue at Singapore General Hospital. The forensic doctor found no open wounds, no bruises, no signs of strangulation, no rope marks, no stab wounds, no blunt trauma. She was still wearing her pajamas, no signs of sexual assault. But when examining her internal organs, a chilling detail emerged. The victim's lungs showed signs of localized bleeding. She died from asphyxiation, but not by human hands. No marks from any object. Nothing lodged in her throat or airway. It was as if the air itself had been drained from the room. Police returned to the apartment this time with forensic experts. The entire space, living room, kitchen, bathroom, spotless. No blood, no strange fingerprints. On the floor, a small trace of dried blood near her wrist, but most of it had clearly been wiped clean. Only a faint smear remained beneath the edge of a cabinet. Who cleaned it? No fingerprints. No discarded gloves. No footprints leading out. There was no balcony. Windows were shut. No sign of forced entry. No CCTV. In 1979, home cameras were rare. Police ran tests and confirmed. This lock cannot be secured from the outside. If someone killed her, they should still be inside. Or they vanished as if they were never there. The phone sat neatly in place. No outgoing or incoming calls that morning. No suicide note. No signs of self-harm. No poisons or foreign substances in her stomach. Nothing. No motive. No killer. No evidence. A woman dead. Unheard. Unseen. Untraceable. Only one thing lingered in that silent, bloodless room. Someone did this, and they were very, very good at making sure no one would know. She lived alone, worked hard, no enemies. But sometimes, the quietest lives hide more than we imagine. At first glance, Seew Leng Khoo's personal records revealed nothing unusual. She worked as an accountant for a major trading company based on Orchard Road. Colleagues described her as always punctual, dressed conservatively, kept her personal life private, no known romantic relationships. But that very perfection made police suspicious. She had no enemies, but also no one close enough to know what was going on. So if someone did this, they must have known her very well. Inside her nightstand drawer, police found a small notebook. It was almost empty, just a few work schedules, and 3 pages carefully torn out. Next to it, an old phone bill, showing frequent calls made to the same number almost every night. That number belonged to a man named David T., 42 years old, an ex-boyfriend of Sew's whom she had broken up with 2 years earlier. When questioned, David said, "We talk sometimes, but she usually called me." Police found no clear evidence to charge him. But one coworker quietly revealed, about a month before she died, she started coming to the office looking anxious. "I once saw her in the bathroom, crying alone for nearly half an hour." The company had a simple hallway camera. Footage from the afternoon of May 18th, the day before her death, showed a tall man wearing a white dress shirt standing outside her office for about 10 minutes. When Sew exited, the two appeared to argue quietly, then walked downstairs together. The man was never seen again. No camera covered the building's exit. No witnesses remembered seeing him later. No evidence could conclusively tie anyone to the crime. But with the torn diary pages, late-night calls, her anxious eyes, and the mystery man, police believed the victim may have been followed, threatened, or psychologically manipulated before her death. But if so, then why? No scream, no scratch, no call for help, only silence and a locked door? A person dies and no one hears their final breath. No wounds, no weapon. Did the killer even need to touch her? Deep forensics. Death by asphyxiation with no known cause. The final forensics report left the entire investigation team baffled. Seew Leng Khoo died from acute respiratory failure. However, no airway obstruction was found. No signs of strangulation. No toxins detected in the blood. The only theory that fit: she may have been exposed to some kind of asphyxiant gas or oxygen-depleting agent, but in such a low dose that no residue remained. Yoch Theory 1. Poison gas in a sealed room. One investigator suggested the killer might have brought a canister of anesthetic gas or high-concentration CO al quadrad, releasing it into the room while she slept. After she lost consciousness, he could have locked the door from inside, then removed the device, leaving the scene clean. However, no traces of gas were detected in the apartment. No strange device was found. And most critically, there was no way for the killer to escape the locked apartment. Theory 2. Self-induced asphyxiation through psychological coercion? Another angle. Perhaps C was mentally coerced to end her own life in a way that left no marks. Severe psychological threats, triggering fatal shock. Induced respiratory failure from extreme panic, a rare but documented syndrome. Or manipulated into taking some unknown substance that wasn't detected. But her family insisted she had no medical history, no behavior that would suggest self-inflicted asphyxiation. Theory 3. A professional killer and invisible hands. Some investigators speculated the killer could have had medical training or combat experience, using a technique called a clean kill. Such a technique would apply precise pressure to the carotid arteries, cutting off blood flow to the brain rather than the airway, cause unconsciousness and death within 2 minutes, leave no clear external marks, especially if done with a soft cloth or padded hand. But the biggest problem remained: how could the killer leave without unlocking the door? So, where did the killer go? The door locked from the inside. No one was seen leaving. No trace was left. If there was a killer, they either never left the apartment, or perhaps they never actually entered at all. No arrests. No one held responsible. Only a woman lying dead in a spotless apartment. And all that remains is a locked door and 40 years of silence. After nearly 6 months of investigation, the case of Seew Leng Khoo was officially closed, classified as death by undetermined cause. Police admitted, "We do not have sufficient evidence to pursue further investigation. We cannot conclusively prove a crime was committed. We found no weapon, no clear suspect, no sign of forced entry." Her family refused to accept this. They believed someone had killed her so perfectly that even the law was powerless. Years later, independent journalists tried to trace the man seen in the video, the man waiting outside her office. The result? No confirmed identity, no employment records, no known connection to the area where she lived. Maybe he was just an old acquaintance, or someone who waited, knowing exactly what to do in the final minutes of her life. Veteran investigators called it the cleanest unsolved murder in Singapore's history. No blood, no witnesses, no weapon, no clear motive, and most notably, no way out. The most accepted theory remains: the killer was someone familiar, someone with access, someone who could make the victim lower her guard completely and kill in a way that left no trace. But if so, why no sound of struggle? Why no stronger psychological signs beforehand? Seew Leng Khoo died silently and invisibly. She left behind a neat apartment. No noise, no clues. A death unmentioned in the media. No documentaries made. No justice served. A normal woman, an unnatural death, and a society unable to explain what happened. Today, if you pass by block 123, that apartment has been rented out many times. No one remembers her name, but sometimes new tenants say they hear something in the early hours, as if someone were standing up, opening the door, and quietly stepping back inside.